Welcome back, fan stands, to the Week 13 finals between Fastbond Doomsday and Bant Control. Now, Bant Control, they seek to delay the game until they can get some powerful planeswalkers in play. They delay using counterspells mostly. Now, Fastbond Doomsday, or Cita-Doom, looks to resolve a Bolas' Citadel and Fastbond and play their whole deck, but also have a Doomsday finish. Here's game one. Alright, we're here in game one. Bant Control is being piloted by Nikolay on the left, and we have Fastbond Doomsday piloted by Tim on the right. We're going to have Nikolay start us off with a Savannah into Mox Ruby and Black Lotus. Cracking the Lotus for blue, going to play Tamiyo. And what will we do? Looks like we just want to get that recurring card advantage, so we're just going to down tick and replay our Black Lotus. Tim's got an Underground Sea, followed by Dark Ritual into Doomsday. Alright, so we've got a turn 1 Doomsday. Tim is essentially going to put Nikolay in check, asking the question, can you interact with me? Otherwise, Tim will be able to assemble a fairly standard pile and win the game. Now, there are a couple things that Tim can do to potentially stop Nikolay from interacting with them. One of the best ways to interact is with Ancestral Recall targeting the Doomsday player, because when they go to draw 3 themselves, then they'll end up drawing an additional 3 and deck out before they can play their Jace. But looks like Tim is considering this and is thinking about putting the Mental Misstep in the pile. Mental Misstep would be able to counter that extra draw. Looks like Tim settled up on a pile that includes Jace, a land Ancestral, Mental Misstep, and the Black Lotus. The land and the Lotus can cast Jace after an Ancestral. And the Mental Misstep is there for insurance. Nikolay's going to need a lot to be able to stop this from going on. Looks like we have a couple cards that don't matter too much at this point in Tim's hand. Okretra's Last Mercy, Fastbond, Karn, Praetor's Grasp, and a Gitaxian Probe. So Nikolay is now aware of what Tim could have, or rather what Tim doesn't have in their pile. And Tim is now aware that Nikolay has no way to stop what Tim's trying to do. So we've got Teferi that can be an extra draw. We have Tamiyo, which can potentially hit something we're looking for. But we kind of have to have a called shot of what we're going to grab. And it looks like Nikolay is upticking Tamiyo here and has named Counterspell. Dovin's Veto, Foff, a land, and Nissa. Missed on the 50-50 between Counterspell and Dovin's Veto. We'll play Gemstone Mine. And it looks like that last card in Nikolay's hand, besides the revealed ones, might just be a land, so Nikolay in huge trouble here. we'll still play that Teferi out, tapping in this way such that if Teferi downticks, if we grab a Wheel of Fortune or a counter spell, then we can still cast what we need. Oh, and it looks like Nikolay grabbed Ancestral Recall, which Tim did plan for. He's got the mental misstep, but with the Teferi being introduced to the board, Tim won't be able to respond and protect himself. So here we've got the Ancestral from Tim to draw 3, and Nikolay feeling very safe. We're responding to Black Lotus with an Ancestral. Tim going for the misstep, but with the Teferi out, that play cannot happen. And Nikolay takes game 1 against all odds. All right, we're here in game 2 in the week 13 finals. This time we're going to have Tim on the play. And it looks like Tim's got another very fast hand. Both players mulliganing down to 6. Now there's a couple different options. We can play out the ramp. Looks like we've still got Praetor's Grasp as well. And we're just going to send it. Force Nikolay to have it early yet again. Now being on the play, this does narrow down the potential interaction Nikolay could have. They had a little more mana last time to be able to interact with Tim's Doomsday last game. But here, if they want to match that amount of mana that they had last time, they'll need to play more cards, which just means that they have less of a chance to hold up interaction. Tim creating a fairly similar pile to last time. Adding that mental misstep again to protect against Ancestral. Looks like we've got Mox Sapphire, Ancestral Misstep, Jace, and Black Lotus. Can't quite see what else is in Tim's hand. But it looks like we have selected a 5. And we'll present Nikolay with the rest of the deck. Checking through the exile, making sure that there's no anomalous things missing. Nikolay should be aware that Tim has a mental misstep somewhere. One of the important things about playing against Doomsday is that Doomsday has so many different lines they could take, and you just want to make sure that you have as much information as possible checking their exile pile. And it looks like we have fully resolved the Doomsday. Nikolay drawing for turn. We'll play a Tundra and a Mox Pearl. And it looks like they've got some interaction to hold up. with a Dovin's Veto. Let's see. Tim's looking at Demonic Tutor in hand. Not much that Tutor can do to help in this situation. But Tim's got to go for it. Has to limit the options for Nicolay. And Jace on the stack will be met with Dovin's Veto. And that'll be the match. Congratulations to Nicolay for going 4-0